Once a year at 10 o'clock sharp, for 2 minutes, the air warning pierces the air of every single populated place in Israel, and life freezes. This time, everyone, wherever they are, honor the victims of the Holocaust by a 2-minute silence. Many people still get shivers up their spine when they hear the word Holocaust, since it's a literal synonym to death. Moreover, it means the massacre of 6 million Jews. Israel mourns for its people who were exterminated during World War II. Besides International Holocaust Remembrance Day, there's also National Memorial Day. Every year, in accordance with the Jewish calendar, it falls on a different day. This year, it was April 12th. The Day of Holocaust and Heroism of European Jews is observed not only at the Promised Land, but many countries hold different memorial events. Germany, for instance, does this year after year.
Betty Adler, Charlotte Adler, Alfred Arendt, Jeanette Aaron, geborene Vogelsang, Bertha Albersheim, Clara Albersheim, geborene Spiro.
Now you can see one of the special and very moving ceremonies held in Dusseldorf on Remembrance Day. All society representatives who care to read out loud the more than 2,500 names of Dusseldorf Jews killed during the Holocaust. Those are the people who had happy lives until someone decided to exterminate them.
In Dusseldorf we remember in different ways, and there's one way to remember that means if your name will be not forgotten, you will be never forgotten. Never forget, never forgive, never again.
It's sad to realize and accept it now, but it is a fact. This town has its page in the book of Holocaust history. Some facts, pictures, and accounts of eyewitnesses are gathered in the big memorial center. The size of the center shows the magnitude of the tragedy. To never ever forget, and for the generations to come to learn from the mistakes of the past, the Dusseldorf Jewish congregation puts a lot of effort into remembrance projects. Interestingly, most of them are directly connected to Ukraine.
Members of our congregation are people who survived or whose relatives survived this tragedy. Notably, in my family, it's my grandmother's relatives, cousins, etc., who died in Babi Yar.
When we actually started our activities through Babi Yar, for example, for the remembrance of 75 years of Babi Yar, we just have to ask in our local newspaper of Jewish community here, to find people who are connected with it, and about 16 people said, yes, we are. We lost relatives, we survived that massacre, we survived there and there, or we lost our relatives. We found eyewitnesses from Uzhgorod till Dnepropetrovsk within 1 week. And they are all living in Dusseldorf or in the surroundings.
This small project that was supposed to be developing within our congregation grew dramatically, and we went to Ukraine as a part of this project.
Dabei lernte Herbert Rubinstein kennen, einen Zeitzeugen, der den Holocaust überlebt und eine Entschädigung bekommen hat.
Herbert Rubinstein zeigt jungen Menschen die Düsseldorfer Synagoge.
The first time that I'm back again in the Ukraine has been in September 2017. I've been back after 71 years in Chernovtsi, Chernowitz, where I've been born in 1936. In that time has been Romania, not Ukraine.
This is Herbert Rubinstein. The return to Ukraine you heard him describing wasn't an easy one for him. This is because in Chernovtsi, where he was born to a Jewish family, as a little boy he experienced all of the Holocaust fears and horrors. Together with his family, he spent some time in one of the Chernovtsi ghettos The trains went daily from there to Transnistria. There was a Moldavian territory that Hitler gave to Romania, and it was a place specifically intended by the Nazis to ultimately deal with the Jewish question. Miraculously, Herbert and his family managed to escape death. These days, Herbert doesn't speak much about the past, but rather about how to influence the future. And so, he keeps reminding that connection between Ukraine and Germany, Dusseldorf in particular, is more serious than it initially seems. He took Jewish news on an exclusive tour to the Jewish cemetery. There, we could see multiple gravestones that have significant historical meaning for Dusseldorf. According to Herbert, many of the people buried in the cemetery were born and lived in Ukraine during the war years.
He had been born in Chernowitz. You can see they are coming from Lvov, they are coming from Kiev, from Chernivtsi, from a lot of countries in the eastern part of Europe. So when our new members saw this, they said, but we are family. And this is very important to have the roots and to explain the people that the Jewish people is a one very big family. Auschwitz, of Majdanek, of Babi Yar, of Helmut. Shema Israel is the pronouncing of God.
To this day, it's difficult to believe that in the center of Europe, in a humane and educated 20th century, something like the Holocaust could happen. Herbert Rubinstein reminds us how important it is to never keep silent about the Holocaust, no matter how many years have passed.
We got the possibility to connect non-Jewish German officials and to tell them that the German troops, the SS and the SR and all the Nazis did very, very bad work. They killed thousands and thousands and thousands of Jewish people in the Ukraine.
Here's some statistics for you to get the magnitude of the Holocaust catastrophe in Ukraine better. Every fourth Jew who was massacred by the Nazis was a citizen of Ukraine. That's 2 million people, a quarter of all Holocaust victims in Europe. Impressive, is it not? This is why the Dusseldorf Jewish congregation is constantly developing its memorial project.
It's a project which we are doing in 8 cities in Ukraine, and we have a lot connection there because of our community center, the Dusseldorf community of Jewish people. It is strongly connected to Ukraine and a lot have roots there. That's why we are doing that.
Project staff and project participants have covered many miles across Ukraine to gather the materials.
Project volunteers point out that it's very helpful for Germany in general and for Dusseldorf in particular. For this reason, materials gathered in Ukraine are presented in Dusseldorf on the Jewish People Remembrance Day. At the Memory Workshops exhibition, you can see photos and memoirs of eyewitnesses of the Nazi crimes in the territory of Ukraine.
When you are on the cemeteries, when you are in those places, and especially when you speak to those who survive, then you get the feeling that there is something special around, a special connection. And this connection, we want to teach the people to get it in their heart, not only in their brain.
We could learn from this, so that we never let anything like it happen again, whether towards Jews or people of other races. Murders, massacres like this must never happen again.
This making a bridge between Germany and Ukraine is highly important, for several reasons too. Of course, again, it's the reason we in Germany don't know what, or we do now know more about what happened in Ukraine, but there is certainly still a big gap of information.
It's important to remember the Holocaust since the issues of anti-Semitism and intolerance have not gone away. This includes not only Jews. In the 1990s, religiously and nationally motivated mass extermination of people took place in Rwanda and Bosnia. In 1993, during the War of Abkhazia, and the Georgian population of Sukhumi was being exterminated. Nowadays, cases of anti-Semitism are becoming more and more common, particularly in France and Germany.
This is very necessary for the future generations that they know people can work together in peace, and we don't need more, never, wars.
More than 200 Holocaust memorial centers were built all over the world. They are the most visited museums on the planet.
I hope that the history of Jews that lived in Ukraine in war times and the World War II history, everything that happened, will be included into the school program. What we tell about is also the history of Ukraine. Maybe at that time it was called Soviet Union, but everything was happening on the territory of Ukraine.
Well, first of all, this exhibition, I think, both in Germany and in Ukraine, it answers a demand to know more, to give information, but not on the abstract level, but on the personal level, breaking it down to personal stories, biographies. If you give facts and figures, these are big numbers and hard to understand. If you break it down to the personal level, you suddenly understand more what it means if your family is taken to Babi Yar.
We don't know what will be tomorrow, what will go on in the Ukraine. There's a war, still a war, never declared a war between two countries. What is going on in the world? What is going now in the moment in Syria? I can't imagine that people is doing, killing children, killing persons that they're only there to live, and what they are doing, they're killing them. Why?